this stupid thing. I didn't have much else to say, really. But I might as well throw in a couple other things I've had problems with on AngryJoe's second show, or not AJS news itself. But I'll just throw in the last little bit is like, it's a skin, it's a character skin. There's so many other characters that do not use, you know, certain items, super weapons and crap, that are running around in Fortnite. There's skins. That's like other games that get skins. You want a Superman game? Go make one. Get the license to one, AngryJoe. Jeez. Crying out loud. Go make your own Superman. Superman games do not have a very good rep. And yeah, there's some really bad Batman and such, and even Aquaman games. Goddamn people, it's synonymous how well-known Superman 64 is, and such. Even Superman Returns, which I think was the most recent of a Superman game, was not very good. Just, I don't know, no, it's just hard to get Superman across well. And I was actually going to make a video on, because I was trying to get down to the bottom of why, on Holden Hardman's show, why, his friends don't hook on to characters like Superman and Captain America. And I think part of that reason is that they're just not as relatable. You're not going to have someone in real life who's truly like selfless, or they're someone who wants to do good by all means. You're just not going to have that Boy Scout kind of person in real life. You're not going to be able to really relate to that all the time. And I'm not saying that isn't something someone can't have, but it's just not as relatable as, or marketable even, as Batman and of course like Spider-Man and such. Like, those characters are much more relatable. They have real life issues that you can relate to more. There's just not a whole lot for Captain America and Superman. Superman lost his parents, and when it comes to losing his Earth parents and stuff, and what kind of character he is now, of course, he's fantastic. I'm not doubting Superman's character. But I do think I know why, like, not everybody's going to attach to a character like Superman immediately, or Captain America, because even in Holden Hardman's show, his friends connected more with Captain America and such after they've seen several movies and such with the characters and how they developed over time. And that's where they truly saw where those characters lie and their motives and such. What makes them tick, who they are. Just Superman and Captain America don't always have that for people to begin with. Hell, I was excited when I heard Superman and Captain America died in the comic books when those comics happened, because I just couldn't relate to the characters, personally. I like them much better now, and that was, like, young me, but, like, I just couldn't relate to the characters the way I did. And it's funny because, like, Bruce, like, obviously there are rich, famous people out there, and Bruce Wayne is a billionaire, but like, you still relate to him on the sense of his motivations and such, and his background, the stuff that's happened to him, and what he still goes through, too. Like, see, he's a very relatable character still, and they found ways to still make him relatable. Because in the comics, spoiler alert, I think he lost Alfred to Bane. Bane killed Alfred in the comics, and he's like a father figure as well. I never liked the Man of Steel movie all that much. I thought it was a fine movie. I went to see it in theaters with my grandmother. But I wasn't a huge fan of it. I do like the action. I don't think of Henry Cavill as, like, a true Superman. He's never been my Superman. I always liked Dean Cain from The Adventures of Lois and Clark. And I love Christopher Reeves. But yeah, like, I guess that's like what kind of like I can't connect on those levels with those characters, and I think that's why maybe Matt from Holden Hardman's channel and such hasn't been able to connect with them either for the same reasons. There's a couple other problems, of course, but still, like, I'm not hating on them. But I do think it's dumb, once again, to be like, oh, Superman. Like, I wouldn't doubt if they made a creative mode where you can have Superman's superpowers, or maybe Epic makes their own mode where you can actually use his powers or something. But yeah, and his flight is mostly going to be a glider. It's just it's weird to me to complain about things like that. At this point, anybody is on the table for being in this game. That's why I think Legend of Zelda wouldn't be too far off, because like they've literally done so many other characters that wouldn't normally use the type of weapons a game like Fortnite would. So why not? And him to complain, he clearly doesn't have enough info, but it's like not even a thing where you need info on a game. And of course complained about the building aspect. I think I don't use the building aspect. I don't really care for it, but I understand its place in the game, and it is kind of something unique to the game. It's an additional experience that adds a kind of puzzle element, you could say, to the game. That's like if there was a Battle Royale Portal. Oh god. But no, if it just adds another dimension to the game. It gives something to think about and do, and it's very intricate but also really cool. And there are many ways you can approach it. And the building aspect itself, just I do like the concept of it. I just don't care for it personally, but I do think AngryJoe shunning that away was kind of dumb. It makes sense now since he hasn't really played the game before. But yeah, it just was kind of dumb to me that that's the kind of stuff he's gonna complain about. Man. But when it comes to it, I think that those were big problems. Now, the other problems I wanted to talk about real quick were some of his reviews. Like, I want to say, like, when he has reviews that are like 6 out of 10s, and this isn't every 6 out of 10, but some of them that I've seen, where he's rated something 6 out of 10, and I'm like, I don't agree with that. And I always think back, you rated Mass Effect Andromeda 7, right? That game is bad. That is not a good game. Man, that game is glitchy. It still is. It's got a lot of technical difficulties, crashes, all sorts of crap. And it's got so little variety when it comes to the multiplayer mode, too. There's not many cool characters that you can get in that as you do with 3. I love the Krogan, like, warlord that's singing and awesome. The fact that you can play a collector is dope. But other than that, I hate the microtransaction part of it, though. But when it comes to it, like, I just don't agree. When it came to Mass Effect Andromeda, it just had no sense of danger and scale that the other Mass Effect games had, and it didn't really have choices that either made sense or really went anywhere. Like, the choices felt one note, one-sided. Or they were confusing, like whenever a prompt came up, you're like, is this meant to be a renegade prompt or a paragon? I don't understand. It's the same color and look every time. And then there's stupid stuff like the collectathon open worlds are boring. The bosses are all the same practically. The quests are boring. The story is the weakest by far in the series. There's only a couple of characters that are actually good in the game. I do like Vetra. I do like Jaal a bit, and I do like PB. But other than that, I don't really care for everybody else. Everybody else was kind of boring. Even the main character, I don't really care for. There's no Commander Shepard at all. What else do we got? But, jeez, that was always a dumb thing. Another thing is, like, loyalty missions really just don't matter. I don't think anybody can get killed in Andromeda if you don't do their loyalty missions. Like, the loyalty missions are kind of meh anyway. Nobody important dies at the end of the game. I've looked it up several times. I don't know of anything like that where you can get everybody killed. Like the suicide mission and Mass Effect 2. It just lacks that sense of danger and everything. Definitely the weakest game. It's got a really weak villain as well. There's only like one part of the game that's actually pretty good. But other than that, it's not enough to hold it up for me as a 7 out of 10. I think more 6. I think that is a 6 out of 10. Maybe I don't remember everything from his review, but I do recall him giving it a 7. And that's always been a dumb thing to me after some of the 6s he's given out. For example, Resident Evil 3. I understand that game is really short. And I definitely agree with a lot of the points, but there are a lot of problems I have. So, some of the key elements to making a Resident Evil game, this goes the same for Village, is the kind of backtracking, being able to do the puzzles at your pace, as well as the inventory management, are really important, like, key elements to the game. What you want to keep in your inventory, what you need to get rid of in order to collect something else that may be more important. Puzzle items, all that kind of stuff. The puzzles, backtracking, all that kind of stuff. Like, that adds to the survival element of it. And I do think that 3 had a little bit of that, but also lacked a lot of it, and I think that is a problem. But here's the thing, Resident Evil 2 has a lot of the same problems, the remake / remaster, as Resident Evil 3, and you can watch Critical Nobody's video on that stuff. I just use them in a reference because I do think the points they bring out are things that I can't repeat on my own, as well as, like, I think they do a really good job with it, so that's why I use them as examples. I do think some of the stuff, like him saying the Michael Bayified stuff, I don't entirely agree with. I agree to an extent. The game was obviously meant to be a reference to the Terminator movie, though. The first Terminator, at least. Maybe even the second. You got Jill Valentine's basically Sarah Connor, and you got Nemesis, not Predator. You're gonna a different Arnold movie. Basically is the Terminator. He's like, always follows her around. It's obviously trying to be an action movie to an extent. And I do kind of like it when the games are trying to be a schlocky action movie. That's why I like 5. 5 knows what it is, and it's over the top, it's ridiculous, but I love it for that. And there's just so many memorable, awesome characters that came out of it. I love the quotes as well, especially from Albert Wesker. Wesker is very memorable and quotable. Man, but when it comes to it, there's a lot of the similar problems that Resident Evil. And here's the biggest problem with his review is the fact that I have a fan going, so if you hear noise in the background, that's why. Also, I don't know why I didn't mention that before. I'm not turning it off. It's hot as hell. But he did not like. Okay, my controller is dying. Great timing. But he did not talk about comparing or playing Resident Evil 2 the original. At least I don't think so. I'll have to watch the review again, but I don't remember him showing any footage or anything of him playing it. And or anything about him playing it in the first place. But he compared Resident Evil 3 a lot to the original Resident Evil 3, but he didn't do anything Resident Evil 2 wise. I think it would only be fair to either not compare it, Resident Evil 3, or to just straightforward go back and compare Resident Evil 2, because a lot of the same problems 2 has as 3. Has a lot of the same problems as 3. Whether it be with its character, the handling of its characters, the handling of the different campaign options, which it's a lie. It's just a lie. The different campaign scenarios are a lie. It's the same goddamn thing. It's just reversed order. There's no point to playing it like that. But yeah, other than for like achievements, of course, or trophies. But it's just really dumb to me. That's baffled me that AngryJoe's, those type of reviews from AngryJoe, just not a lot of thought put into the actual, like, when thinking about him comparing the original, but not doing 2 with that. Because he would find a lot of the same problems with 2, if that was the case. But I do think 2 does do things right with how like those key elements I talked about before are with a Resident Evil game, the backtracking, the use of the puzzles, the inventory system. I think it does a good job of those. So I won't doubt those. Where 3, I can at least see somewhat like it doesn't do that right all the time. When it comes to the new one. I love the original Resident Evil 3. That's fantastic, and I am disappointed in the new one. I think they should have, what they should have done is they needed to do the police station with Jill, a level of that, and Nemesis chasing you there, and maybe him chasing you in the sewers, maybe, not sure about that. Maybe in the later half of it, that would probably make more sense, but I think he should have transformed way later than much earlier like he did. I think that's my big things I would do and big problems that I would have, is that I literally think there should be a level with Nemesis chasing her. And doesn't Nemesis chase Carlos as well in the original at some points? Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure, like, he gets chased too. And of course, yeah, they're missing a lot of the story beats, or the story path can change depending on what you do, your actions, what you do. Remake, remaster, or whatever, doesn't have those very things. And the ending to that game also is just the same thing, because it's just the only difference is either Jill or Leon is going to fight the final Burke battle, which doesn't last long anyways. So there's really not a whole lot to say there. So that's basically it. I hope you guys did enjoy both these parts. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Leave your comments below, and when you do subscribe, hit the bell for notifications to keep up to date with the latest content. And I'll see you guys later. Bye. That's right, I have to stop the broadcast like this.